Hello, everybody. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to try to recreate this geometric construction to kind of go over the tools that Desmos has and try to help you get organized with how to use this particular software. Now, you might see that it says 37 hidden objects. That's why they're hidden. If you look, that is very, very crowded. And as we go, we will be hiding things. But for right now, I am going to delete everything. And we're going to start over. So, first thing that we're going to do, because the construction for a regular hexagon and for a regular triangle, start off by making a circle. Now, to make a hexagon, which is what I'm going after, I need to set my compass to the radius of the circle and then go around. The problem is you will see that I can't even select the compass option. The reason for that is simple. You have to have a segment. So there's my segment, and now that I have that segment, I have access to the compass. So compass, choose my radius, choose where I want it to be. And as long as you don't do anything else, you can just keep going with the compass. And what we're doing here is we are making the parts of our regular hexagon, the vertices of our regular hexagon. So we have this shape here. To put in our hexagon, you can either use segments or you can use polygon. I'm going to use polygon here because I want you to see one thing that it does. So going through, and I get my points finished, and you see that it fills in. If you want something shaded, that's a good way to do it. I don't actually want it, but I can hide it. Okay, before I go any further with this is something that you should always do when you're doing something with this program, and that is lock your points. Because at this point, if I were to shift one of these by accident, that could that would make me a very sad person today. So let's think about what I want. I want to have that arc kind of going through. And the way I did that was I used the arc tool. Now the arc tool allows you to select 3 different points and it makes an arc. So now if I were to go and hide this circle, I still have that little bit of an arc there, which is nice to have. And I'm going to do the same thing because I'm trying to mimic a design that honestly at this point I have forgotten because I'm not great with remembering figures or artistic value, so to speak. Now, these points, if you see this floating around it, that means that it is not locked into place. So as you add points, just periodically, I recommend going through and locking them. That way they don't move on you accidentally. So I'm now going to hide some of the stuff I don't want. I don't want those points. And I really don't need the circle on the outside anymore. So I'm also going to hide that. Okay, so now the rest of my design can be done using some constructions. So the first thing that we're going to do isn't really a construction, it's just drawing a segment. If I do a segment from there to there, and from there to there, I now have part of my design that was coming through. Now, the segments that I had coming from this vertice to this line, and this vertice to this line, we're connecting at the midpoints. Now you can go through and construct the midpoint, but one of the tools you have is midpoint. So if I click that and click the line segment, oh look, there's my midpoint. And I'm done with that. You can also do that with parallel lines if you wanted parallel lines, like if I wanted to have a line parallel to this going through this point, I can do that. I don't want that, but I can do it. If I wanted a perpendicular line, I could do the same basic thing, select the line and then pick the point that I wanted at. But again, I don't really want that here. Going back to my segments, we can connect from there to there, and from there to there. And now we get to two things that Desmos doesn't have an automatic feature to do. One of those is bisecting an angle. Now, bisecting an angle overall is not that bad of a process, but we do need a segment to start off with, or a radius, I should say. So I pick my compass, select that tool, come down, select where I want it. Remember, if we're bisecting, we do not change that radius at all, and we are just going to where our intersections are. And now to get the actual angle bisector, I take a ray and I draw a ray through there. Now, you don't have to use a ray here. You could use a segment. I chose to use a ray. And the reason I chose to use a ray is because I want to ultimately connect to this side here. And the ray actually gives me the visual I need to put in the segment that I want. And now I'm going to go through and hide some things because we're getting a little cluttered. This is just something that you have to do. I'm getting rid of the stuff I don't want up here, so I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't really want that point either. I don't want that point either. And let's get rid of that point. Okay. So I've hidden those points. Now I'm going to copy an angle. And I'm going to show you two ways to do it. But understand that I actually prefer doing the construction as opposed to the shortcut trick because it's easier for me to do the construction. If you choose the angle tool, you can select 3 points and it will tell you the measurement of that angle. So that angle is 49 degrees. Now, I can copy an angle simply by trying to make this get to 49 degrees. I have technically copied that angle. If I draw a ray through there, it will work. However, I do like doing the construction. I find it easier. You can obviously do what makes you happy in this sense. But I'm going to do the construction. So the first thing with the construction is you set a circle centered at the vertex that will intersect the angle twice, and then we need to put a segment there. I'm going to go back to my compass tool. I'm going to reselect the arc that I used for the first one. I'm going to put that in there. And then I am going to select the arc that we used, or the segment that we used in the angle itself. I'm going to put it there. Now, if I take my ray and I draw my ray, I draw it through the construction intersections, you will notice that it also goes through that angle bit that we put. That being said, I don't really want the angle, so I'm just going to get rid of it, but that is an option if you want to go about it that way. It's not a bad option either. It's just not what I prefer necessarily. And just clean up a little bit more. Okay, so I really have just one more part to do. And honestly, it's almost easy to the point that it's kind of obvious, is what I'm trying to get at. Because I'm just going to copy a segment. Now I need to choose the segment that I'm going to copy. I think I am actually going to copy this guy here. Okay, so I'm going to my compass. I select that, and I'm going to this ray that I have over here. Put that down. And then to finish the copy, simply do that. Segment copied. And the last bit we're going to do, it's obvious that I did not copy that segment on the original design, but that's okay. I'm going to put that in so that I have that little triangle out there. Hide this. If you want to shade any of this, you can shade using the polygon tool. I'm not 100% sure if you can shade on a curve at all. But if I just want that triangle to be a different color, I can do that. I can go through and select my color. Speaking of color, you can just highlight everything and change it to whatever color you want. You can even do where different segments or different parts are different colors. So go ahead and just play around with it a little bit. This is being made primarily because of the project that we are doing, and I just wanted to make sure that you had a good feel for the way Desmos works, because it does take some getting used to. I am also going to do a video on GeoGebra and a video on Adobe Illustrator, provided I can figure out how to do this in Adobe Illustrator. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and learned something. That is the goal of this, after all. And have a lovely day. Take care.